Courtesy, the sister of love. Sound like a song, huh? Courtesy, the sister of love. I want to talk about that. Because the only Jesus some people may ever see is the Jesus in you or the Jesus in me. You've heard me say that many, many times. And in Colossians, Paul writing to the church of Colossae, he says in chapter 4, verse 5, walk in wisdom toward them that are without. That means people that may not know the Lord. Redeeming the time, which means you can redeem time. Verse 6 is where I want to get to. He says, let your speech be always with grace. What does that mean? God's unmerited favor, which is really a very slim definition of grace because it's so big. Seasoned with salt. In other words, you ought to taste good. You ought to be a little pungent. Salt will do that. Seasoned with salt, that you may know, not believe, but that ye may know how you ought to answer every man. I'm going to read verse 5 again. I'm going to read verse 6 again. Walk in wisdom. The Bible says, if any man lack wisdom, let him ask of God. Toward them that are without. Redeeming the time. See, that's what wisdom does. Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how you ought to answer every man. There were 3 great apostles in this Bible that did a lot of teaching. John, Peter, and Paul. There were a lot of other ones, but of those 3, not only were great apostles, they were travelers like I am, but they taught, they preached, they prayed constantly. They did things that were amazing, and their legacy is still strong today. Now, would you go with me to 1 Peter? That's right before 2 Peter. Go back, toward the end of the Bible. 1 Peter chapter 3. 1 Peter chapter 3. I want to start reading with verse, let's see, man, I could read so much here. I'm going to just read verse 8. Finally, be ye all of one mind. What mind? What is he talking about there? The mind of Christ, not your mind. Having compassion. Everybody say compassion. So notice how it goes with Colossians. Know how to answer somebody. You answer with compassion, courtesy. One of another. Love as brethren. Be pitiful. That's not a bad word. We have a different definition. That means being humble. Be courteous. Not rendering evil for evil. Or railing for railing. But or contrariwise blessing. Knowing that you are thereunto called that you should inherit a blessing. How many of y'all want to inherit a blessing? Well, there's 5 little things going on there that God is talking about. And when you understand compassion and love and humbleness and courteous and one mind, I could preach 5 different things right there. But I want to pull that word courtesy out. In fact, Kathy, can I have you, I want to read that in Amplified, the 1 Peter 3. Okay. I want to read it in Amplified. Kathy has one of them iPads, I think that's what it is. Yeah, I don't have one. I don't have a phone. That's why I'm happy. I am free. Y'all can keep these things. Okay, where is it at, Kathy? I don't know how to read this. Verse 8, okay, thank you. This is the Amplified translation, right? Finally, all of you should be of one and the same mind, united in spirit. Why do churches split? They're not in one mind and one accord. They're not united in spirit. Sympathizing with one another. Loving each other. As what? As brethren of one household. What is that household? The household of faith. Right. Compassionate, that's what that pitiful means. We think pitiful, not like, oh, that's pitiful. No, compassionate and courteous, tenderhearted and humble. Oh, it's also on the screen. Compassionate and courteous, tenderhearted and humble. Courtesy, the sister of love. My mother always told us, you are going to have some manners. You understand? I will beat you till you do. You know, we never got spankings. We got whoopings. Anybody ever got whoopings? Oh, yeah. I never did say spank. Spanking must have been for rich people. We're going to spank you. You know, poor people, we're going to whip you, boy. You know, whoopings. How many of y'all ever been hit by a switch? I still hate switches today. I'll go by a switch tree. I curse it in the name of Jesus. You bear the marks of the switch. You got to watch that thing. Peter was saying that, and you know, Peter wasn't very courteous. Notice how God changed him. You ought to be changing every day, every week, every constant, because you're growing to the fullness of the stature of Christ. You see, in every area. Paul sometimes was very courteous, and yet he could be very hard. Nothing wrong with being hard, but it must be done in a courteous way. I never forget one time, many, many years ago, I was in Monroe, Louisiana, and I was in a grocery store to buy some shaving stuff. And when I got to the counter, this lady, was in a bad mood. Now, I'd never seen her before in my life. I didn't know her. And she said, put your things on a thing straight. Oh, excuse me, I didn't know I put it crooked. Hurry up, you got people behind you. So I straightened out. Then I stopped. I said, you know, I think we need to start over. Hello. Look like you're not having a good day. I don't know you and you don't know me. But see, you're trying to put something in my mind for me to hate you. And I'm not. So I'm just going to pray for you. Jesus, just touch it. People went. I had to just start over. She looked at me, she went, yeah, I'm having a bad day. She said, I'm struggling to pay stuff. And I said, well, how much you need? And she did. She told me. And I said, well, I can take care of that. Oh, no. I said, no, that's the wrong word. You should have said, oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And then several people behind me said, if you want to do it again, we're back here. How many times I paid for people's groceries I didn't even know? Not bragging on that. That's a courteous thing to do. Now, I could have said, what's the matter with you, woman? You want to dance with me? Did she deserve it? Yeah. Yeah. But you don't render evil for evil. Railing for railing. So write this down. Courtesy is the flavor of our personality, which we add to our conversation. Isn't that a good point? Courtesy is the flavor of our personality, which we add to our conversation. In other words, when we're talking, we give you flavor of our personality, which is courtesy. See, I love that point. Courtesy is the flavor of our personality, which we add to our conversation. So we taught Jody to be courteous. We teach Meredith, our granddaughter, to be courteous. And I tell you what, my mother used to tell me, and till today, you don't eat nothing in front of somebody without offering them something. Do you understand that? I said, yes, and I'm still like that till today. I won't eat nothing. And I taught Jody that. Now, you've heard this story before, but it's one of the finest stories that ever happened in our life. It's a true story. You know, remember when you could send your kid to the park and not get arrested? And then they wouldn't have to worry about somebody stealing them or sexually molesting them. You know, they went to the park. You be back before dark, boy. Or they rode their bicycle. How many? All over the neighborhood if they had one. I only had one bike in my life, and it was used. But I got glad I had one. In other words, we could just go if there was a park. You can't do that today because they got such craziness. Well, Jody, there was a park maybe we lived on. This is the name of this street. 104 Hellier Street. We were the first one on the street. So we probably had more hell than anybody else, I guess. I don't know. 104 Hellier Street. And about a block, and you could see it, was the park. And the kids would just run down there and just play all day. So Kathy would come out and go, Jody! Or I would go out, Jody! You could hear parents going, Fred! Time to come home, boy! How many of y'all, you heard your mama say that? You know, it was a wonderful time, wasn't it? I have to worry about it. And they come back smelling like little wet dogs. If I do sweat like I smell like a dog. Mama said, you smell like a dog. I said, the dog likes it. Well, I was in the back, and we were in a 910 square foot house. The bathroom was so small, you could sit on the toilet and wash your hands in the lavatory. I swear to God, I'm not exaggerating. That's how little it was. But we were fine. And I was a very wealthy man, gave all my money away and bought that. Because I thought you had to be poor. You know, that's why I was raised. You know, you're a Christian, you got to be poor. But, you know, we were happy. So watch this. You've heard me. I love this story. I like to tell it. Ding, ding, a ling, ding, a ling, ling, ding. Ding, ding, a ling, ling, a ling, ling, ding. Ding, ding, a ling. And I said, the ice cream man. See, we had certain people around there. We had the ice cream man, the bread man, the roach man, the milkman. Got to watch that milkman. You had to watch him. The milkman said, oh, no. Just leave it at the road. I'll pick it up. I said, Kathy must have stopped the ice cream man for some ice cream. And all of a sudden I hear Kathy go, Jesse, the ice cream man. We never knew his name. It's called the ice cream man. Ice cream man wants to talk to you. And so I walk, I said, hello. And I thought Kathy had bought some ice cream. Something. I used to like them sidewalk sundaes on a stick. Anybody ever eat them? Or them kind of, you can tell, man, I'm hungry. Those kind of, with the pecans on top of it, with the, jeez. And it only cost 20 cents. He said, are you Jesse Duplantis? I said, yes, I am. He said, do you have a daughter named Jody? And I looked at him, I said, yes, I do. She's 5. He said, you owe me $47 and change. I said, $47 and change. Now, this is when ice cream is 20 cents. 25 cents. You understand what I'm saying? I said, 47. He said, yeah. I said, oh, how do I owe you 47? And how do you know? She said, oh, she's at the park. I said, yeah. She bought everyone in the park an ice cream. You know how many kids was in that park? Every one of them. And she told me, go down that road to that yellow house and talk to my daddy, and he will pay for it. True story. So, and he did this. So I took my money and I paid the man. Am I right, Kathy? I paid the man. We were just kind of shocked, and I thought, so after he drives off, ding, 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 I wasn't singing too much, you know, ding, ding, ding. I was thinking, ding, dong. You know, I walk out there and I went, Jody! Jody! And so I went. Now she look about that big. She pretty. Here she come with that bicycle. And all her friends, I don't know how many friends they had. They all had little bicycles or whatever. Come walking in there, man. And they licking ice cream. And when they came up, they went, thank you, Mr. Jesse. Thank you, mister. I said, y'all like your ice cream? Oh, yeah. Thank you. I said, oh, that's right. Jody, Daddy need to talk to you. True story. You know, I love telling this story. I go and I said, Jody, what are you doing? She said, we have a problem. 5 years old. You ever heard of a child say that? Jody was always around adults. You know, we traveled all our little life. You know, I said, we have a problem? I said, yeah, we got a problem. I said, the ice cream man stopped and I had to pay him $47 and some. She said, yeah. I said, why did you buy everybody in the whole park an ice cream? She said, well, you said don't eat nothing in front of anybody unless you offer them something. Did you say that, Daddy? I said, yes, I said that. She said, did you pay the man? I said, yes, I did. Then she said, then we don't have a problem. And then she walked out. True story. What was she doing? Being courteous. At my expense. Courtesy is the flavor of our personality, which we add to our conversation.
This media is copyrighted by Jesse Duplantis Ministries for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this media or of any pictures or accounts without Jesse Duplantis Ministries' consent is strictly prohibited.